This is like my third time recording this. I'm making this video really as a it's not a confession. It's more like I'm getting it out there and speaking my truth once and for all. This video has been a long time coming. This is something I've been thinking about for a very long time, for about 7 years now. And it's something very dear to me. When I was 14 years old, I was 14 going on 15. So this was 2015. It was April 15th, 2015. I would turn 15 the next month. I came out to my parents as bisexual. And that was a very emotional time for me. I didn't know, really what to expect from them being my parents. They came to me with love and support, tried to calm me down from my crying. It was an interesting night. And so from there, I was kind of exploring and learning more about the LGBTQ plus community, learning about different terms, seeing things that would resonate with me or not. Eventually, I would go on to identify as pansexual. Pansexuality is the romantic, sexual, or emotional attraction to people regardless of their gender. Bisexuality is the romantic, sexual, or emotional attraction to two or more genders. So I would kind of fluctuate between bi and pan throughout my teenage years, and then I finally felt like bisexuality was truly who I was and something I felt very comfortable in. It wasn't until I ended my longest relationship I've been in. My relationship, it was 3 years, 11 months. So I was 20 then. And this was 2020. After that relationship ended, I really started to explore myself again. And I started thinking, I was like, and then I ended my relationship with my ex-boyfriend. I started thinking, do I really like guys? I I just felt a depletion of my attraction towards men, and I felt like I couldn't connect with men on an emotional or romantic level. And it even got to the point where I didn't feel like I could connect with them on a physically intimate level either. So I needed something to describe this feeling. I was like, am I this or am I that? It nothing seemed to make sense to me anymore. So I kind of did what like kind of everybody goes through. They're like 13, 14, going online, looking at the am I gay quizzes. So I'm doing this again. This is about a year later after we broke up. So this is about 2021 now, if I'm setting up a timeline here. And it was about May 2021, and I'm searching up things. I'm trying to describe the feeling that I'm feeling now because I was scared that it wasn't bisexuality that I was feeling. So, like I said, I was feeling these kind of depletions. I had no interest in men whatsoever. I didn't want to date guys. I really wanted to put my focus on dating women. And these were such strong feelings. So I came across an article that talked about one particular very famous master doc that many people know about. This is the Am I a Lesbian master doc. It was made by a Tumblr user just to describe, you know, it's more like basically, am I lesbian and how can I find out, and different signs and things you may be experiencing that could conclude that you might be a lesbian. I found this not really realizing how popular it was at the time. I didn't know anybody else knew about this. Not that I thought I discovered it, but I wasn't aware of its popularity. I read the document. I read the document a few times. I was reading this document before I went to bed. I was reading it at work. I was reading it in the bathroom. I was so immersed in this document, and I felt like at that time, I definitely felt like a lot of the things resonated with me. And there were different things like you don't, feel attracted to men anymore, or you are only attracted to feminine men. Things like that. You have high standards for men. And forgive me for looking down. I have some notes trying to put my brain in order somewhere. Or just simply being more attracted to women than you are men, or things like that. And this is a 31-page document. There is a lot to take in. And it also speaks on the theory of compulsive heterosexuality, or COMPHET for short. And what COMPHET is this theory that people are, if I could just read it, I could just look down here. It's the theory that heterosexuality is assumed and enforced upon people by a patriarchal and heteronormative society. And while it can affect both genders, I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. And Adrienne Rich was a poet and feminist activist and really popularized the term compulsive heterosexuality and described it as where society has basically brainwashed women into thinking that they should prioritize their relationships with men and gravitate away from their relationships with women. So, yeah, basically saying that we're socialized to want to be with men. Learning that threw me into a loop. It was like I was happy, but then I was also going down a spiral. Upon learning this and, analyzing all my crushes, my relationship with my ex, I had concluded that I didn't like guys at all, and that all my crushes that I had on men weren't real. There was no doubt in my mind that I was brainwashed. And I do personally believe that we as a society take heterosexual, heteronormative concepts and prioritize them. I think, especially in the media, in our literature, in the things we listen to, songs, I think that we live in a very heteronormative culture. I'm speaking US, Western culture here. And I feel like it is really also dominated by religion and those kind of aspects that speak of man and woman. That's right. So um I do believe that we as a society, that's just kind of hovering over everyone's head to believe. But, like I said, I was like, I finally snapped out of it. I have broken my way. I have broken away from men. And this was probably one of the saddest parts. I was happy. I was happy to find out that I was a lesbian. And why wouldn't I be? Discovering something about myself. I should be happy. The sad part about it was I was excited to not be bisexual. I was excited to not be a part of it anymore. I was excited that I could finally break away from bisexuality and bisexual stereotypes. Stereotypes like bisexual people are big cheaters, bisexual people are confused, they're greedy, they don't exist. I was happy to had finally picked a side. It's bizarre to me now thinking about it. I looked at my bisexuality as a stepping stone to lesbianism, to being a lesbian. I looked at it like a phase. And in my head, I was like, hey, bisexuality, you're valid and all, but I gotta skedaddle. And I didn't realize how much I internalized a lot of biphobia. I unknowingly shamed myself for even thinking about liking men. So I decided to wear the lesbian label for a bit and see what it was like. And to tell you the truth, I am not good at being a lesbian, and whatever that means. It was really hard to navigate in a space you don't belong in. I didn't feel comfortable calling myself a lesbian. I didn't feel comfortable telling people that I was one. I didn't feel like it really resonated with me, but I'm like, but this is me, right? Because I read this and I should be this, and this is how I was feeling about guys. This is right? I think I was trying to find some kind of subconscious lesbian manual on how to be a lesbian. I didn't know what was the click, or what was going to be the yes, you are, the 100% surety of it. So while I'm navigating as a lesbian, I was also navigating within lesbian spaces. And I learned a lot being in these spaces that I really wasn't supposed to be in. I learned a lot. I learned so much, in fact, that I realized later on down the line, and when I say later on down the line, I mean around March this year, that I'm not a lesbian. I'm not a lesbian, and that's okay. I was really looking through, so I had found this Instagram called lesbian underscore her story, lesbian her story. And this account really kind of talks about lesbian history, talks about culture, different images of sapphic couples. Something I, as a sapphic person, really needed in my life, and it was very affirming, and I was very happy to be seeing these images. I'm like, this is something that I want in my life one day. The person who ran this account, she would have these polls in the Instagram stories, and they're different polls or just a space where lesbians could come and just talk about lesbianism and aspects of lesbian culture. And it was really interesting kind of being a part of it, but then ultimately realizing, especially with, a lot of the conversations that are very enlightening, I got to really know what a lesbian is. And I really had to ask myself, I'm like, Darian, do you really know what a lesbian is? Because I thought I had to aspire to these stereotypes in order to truly be a lesbian. I had to listen to this kind of music. I had to wear these kind of clothes. I have to present this way in my sapphic relationships going forward. And I was being driven insane, trying to wear lesbianism, trying to wear lesbian as a costume. And I couldn't get it. It didn't feel authentic. I felt like a fraud, mainly because I was a fraud. But I didn't know. I was ignorant, and I'm not mad at myself for that. I think life is about learning. And it kind of hit me thinking, wow, I'm really bad at being a lesbian. I'm seeing all these guys, and I'm hoping I get their attention. I hope they come and talk to me. I want to talk to them back. I want to flirt. And to tell you the truth, I'm attracted to him. And then I would be like, no. We don't do that because we're lesbian. I'm like, oh yeah, right. And I would really try to psych myself into thinking that I didn't like men, and I would try to suppress these feelings. It's like, no, Derry, we're trying to be a lesbian here. My name is Darian, by the way. I didn't introduce myself properly. My name is Darian. This is my video. So I had to tell myself, hey, Darian. And I was like, yeah, Darian? Lesbians don't like men. I was like, oh, are you serious? I was like, yeah. A lesbian is a woman who is romantically, sexually, and or emotionally attracted to other women. Other definitions include non-men loving non-men. This is to be inclusive of gender non-conforming people, non-binary people, genderqueer people, all who may be woman aligned or have some connection to womanhood. I was like, oh, oh. And, as if like I didn't know that, but I feel like I felt so affirmed by the document, the master doc. But, to tell you the truth, there's a lot in it that, looking back on it now, I wish. What do I wish? Maybe I wish it considered some things. I am happy it exists, and I also read it with caution now. Like, reading it again, I mean, like, that's interesting now that I have a different perspective, being with myself a little more, being within lesbian spaces, and hadn't talked to people, talked to lesbians, talked to bisexual women. And, just looking at this document now, and a lot of these anybody can really resonate with, and not all these experiences are exclusive to being a lesbian. I'm glad that they're there as a you might be. I wish it included you might be bi, you might be another different sexuality. But I also like it because it has helped a lot of people realize a lot about themselves. It's there to help people. A lot of people have realized I am a lesbian, and I think that's a beautiful thing. People have something to really affirm who they are. And I guess, to tell you the truth, it helped me in the sense that it has affirmed who I really am. My name is Darian, and I am bisexual. And that is nice to say. I think some of the biggest things about my denial in being bisexual, and being happy that I wasn't for a second, or at least I thought I wasn't. I apologize. My dog was barking. But what I was saying, another part of it, and I know a lot of it for me personally, and like just being super biphobic towards myself, and not really realizing, it's like, wow, Darian, you really think that about bisexual people? Like I said, I saw it as a phase. I saw it as something that truly didn't exist, that I am either straight or I am gay. And I couldn't believe that I thought this. I couldn't believe that I internalized this. And to tell you the truth, a big part of it, I was like, I'm glad I don't like men. Which is a really weird thing to think. Being just not just saying I was happy I was a lesbian, but even happier not to be bisexual. That's what I mean by that. And as if being attracted to men, I was thinking being attracted to men is inherently bad. That's what I was thinking. An unfortunate way of thinking, and I was ashamed to like men, and I was happy that I beat the patriarchy and became a lesbian. And that's when I was really asking myself, Darian, what do you think lesbianism is? But I put a lot of politics on the way I viewed lesbianism. I guess I viewed it as this stepping stone to defeating the patriarchy, and I guess admitting I don't need men. I can do this without them. Women are awesome, and women are awesome. And I think that's what that denial came from. And, you know, being bi growing up, like being a teenager, 22. And so I wasn't a teenager that long ago, but it felt like forever ago. I never felt like I was gay enough, or I never felt like I was queer enough being bi and liking men. I just wanted to be anything other than bi, I realized. Sad to say. And I didn't feel like I fit in. Every time I told somebody I was bisexual, I was embarrassed about it. I felt like I had one leg hanging out the door, being toppled and kneeling to the patriarchy for being attracted to men. And what I didn't realize is, like, you can abstain from men and still be attracted to them. You don't have to date men, Darian. You don't have to date men if you don't want to. And I guess I mixed that up with I don't like men at all. And I really had to train myself into realizing what was compulsive heterosexuality and what was true attraction. Well, like I said, it was when I had to force myself into thinking I don't like men. Perhaps that means you probably like guys if it's this hard that you have to, like, mentally fight yourself into trying to be something that you're not. So that was fun. That was a fun couple of months, nearly a year. And yeah, like I said, I just kind of grew up thinking, like, I don't feel like I'm a part of the community. And there are a lot of biphobic people inside and outside of the community. There's a lot of heterosexual people who straight up don't believe that bisexuality exists, just think it's just a phase, you just experimenting. And people think that inside the community as well. And I just wanted some legitimacy within my bisexuality. I wanted to feel legitimate in my queerness. And I'm like, I have to be with a woman in order to show the world that I am queer. I can't be queer with a man. And when I took a step back and started putting an asterisk by things I was thinking, I was like, Darian, that's biphobic. That's bad. And I believe that I took a lot of the feelings that I was feeling towards my ex-boyfriend, a lot of the kind of hard feelings I was feeling towards him during and after our relationship. And I took that and I put it on all guys. it didn't work out with this one guy, so it won't work out with the any other man. And that wasn't fair to myself. That wasn't fair to myself. That wasn't fair to look at guys that way, because we do live in a world where there are men who do mortifying things to women. And to anybody, but really to women like me. And so it's easy to what am I trying to say? It's, how could you not think that about men when a lot of them do act atrociously? And we all say, not all men. And I have to remember, it is not all men. And I shouldn't judge all men based on what some men do or how some men act. So that was really kind of eye-opening for me, and I really thank my parents for being patient with me, for watching me go through all this. I probably came out to my mom 3 times now, and so, and I came out to her as bi for the second time. I was like, hey mom, I like guys. And she's like, I know. So, good job, 14-year-old Darian. You were right the first time. But I think this, like I said, has been a fun learning experience. Fun. It's been an interesting one, and it's been very eye-opening. I'm, I want to be proud of myself. I want to have pride. Happy Pride. Happy Pride. And I want to be proud of my bisexuality. I love women and I love men. And I want to be proud of any fluidity I may have. I see, you see the bisexual pie chart. It's not 50-50. Sometimes it's 60-40. Sometimes it's 80-20. Sometimes it's 90-10. And that's my experience a lot of the time. And like I said, I look at the master doc with caution, but also as, helpful to a lot of people. And I hope that, even like this video can resonate with some people, someone who is questioning their bisexuality or looking for affirmation. Maybe we may be going through similar things about it, and hopefully this video can help you too. I just talked a bunch. This is really what this video was going to be about. Just talking a bunch and trying to get my thoughts out there, and just to proudly say out loud, I am bisexual and I am proud of that. And now I'm just looking for, just bisexual resources, support groups. I'm, just really talking to my bi friends, because when I told myself, hey Darian, it's okay to be bi, it's okay to like men, I did a mental because guess what? We all know this too, but sometimes you got to remind yourself, Sexuality is not a choice. I try to choose to be lesbian. I'm not a lesbian. I'm not. So, excuse me. So if anyone is like sexuality is a choice, you tell them Darian tried to be a lesbian and she couldn't do it because she's not a lesbian. I like guys. I like guys. I like guys. I like girls. I like people. I am bisexual. And that's great. That's great. And that's me. That's me. And I'm happy that that is me. So I think I want to end this video. It is Pride Month, and I definitely wanted to do my part in giving back to my community. In my town, we have the Magic City Acceptance Center. They don't know me. I'm throwing that out there because I think they're a wonderful organization helping LGBTQ plus youth in educating them and helping them feel like they have a place in this world, because they do. And, you know, helping them feel proud about who they are. And I so could have used something like that growing up, even just 7 years ago. So it's so nice to have, you know, a youth group that, you know, is so, I don't know, passionate about helping kids discover and love who they are. So I definitely wanted to give them a shout out, and they're taking donations always, and they're doing summer classes. They're doing lots of fun events and activities with the kids and the youth. So I definitely wanted to drop their donation link down in the description. I will be donating to them. I'm really happy that my city has something like this now, and I want to help other, you know, queer teens, youth figure out who they are and get to explore that and be proud of who they are, and, you know, knowing that there's no shame in who they are. I want that bisexual teenager to know that there's nothing wrong being bisexual. Being bisexual is a beautiful thing. Bisexuality is beautiful. That's also what that being LGBTQ plus means. So yeah, I definitely wanted to give them a shout out. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching. This was a regurgitation of everything that is in my head and has been in my head for quite some time. And it's very lovely to finally get that out. I feel free. And I'm gonna go, I don't know, buy a bi flag? Maybe? That sounds like fun. So thank you again for watching this video. Y'all have a great day.